What is up, everybody? RandomRandomMan here, and judging from this ridiculous hat I'm currently wearing, it is Christmas time. Yes, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to whatever you guys are celebrating during this time of year. I hope you guys are having a wonderful holiday season, and since I have so much time to do extra videos during this time, I'm here to review The Interview, which stars Seth Rogen, James Franco, Lizzie Kaplan, and Randall Park, and is directed by Evan Goldberg and Seth Rogen. Now, the plot follows Dave Skylark, played by James Franco, a host of a popular celebrity tabloid show who gets the opportunity to interview Kim Jong-un, played by Randall Park. But once him and his producer, Aaron Rappaport, played by Seth Rogen, get enlisted by the CIA to assassinate the leader of North Korea, shenanigans ensue as they are sent over to the country and things go haywire. Now, given as of lately, it is no secret that this movie is highly controversial for its subject matter. I mean, this is a comedy first and foremost, but then again, how could a movie like this not go by without any hesitation from those who are going to be involved with it or are offended by it? But that's not going to be the main focus of my review, as I'm going to talk about how good is this movie. Well, looking forward to the movie, I thought it looked pretty funny, even though the concept was ridiculous and quite controversial once again, but I'm not going to talk about that. But I was looking forward to it, but before its ins and outs kept going. But how was it? Let's run down the whole thing. By far and away, the best part about this movie is the impeccable chemistry between Franco and Rogen, as Franco is playing an outlandish caricature of sorts, and Rogen is playing a straight man, if you will. And these two together are always just so funny, with this, Pineapple Express, and even Goldberg and Rogen's previous directorial effort, This Is the End. I just think that these two are by far and away some of the best comedians ever. And in these roles and with a concept like this, I think that this movie is well worth watching just for them. The rest of the supporting cast are not up to par for some characters, but then again, this is mostly Rogen and Franco's show here. Lizzie Kaplan, who I haven't seen in a while since Mean Girls 10 years ago, plays the CIA agent who enlisted to go kill Kim Jong-un, and she was heavily underutilized here. I think that her role could have been given much more heft had she been integrated into the actual plot more, but then again, this is mostly Franco and Rogen's show once again, and she does pop up in some key moments during the beginning and only once in the end, so she wasn't the main focus. But there are several key cameos that do pop up here, and might I say that they are hysterical, and I won't spoil who does pop up in the end and at the beginning. But I think Randall Park here, who does play the North Korean leader, steals the show a lot of the time in this movie. Of course, his character is supposed to be played up for laughs and it's a parody of sorts of the real leader, but I think that he was just so funny that I think I'll look out for him once again in the near future, as I have been doing for a lot of actors recently in some good movies I've been seeing. And I think that the cast here are very charming, even if some of them are underplayed and unnecessary. For the first couple of minutes of this movie, it is like a straight comedy, like, it just explains what Rogen and Franco's characters do for a living, on this show and how they go about their daily roundabouts. But then, once the CIA does enlist them, it turns into a spy movie of sorts, with them going over how they plan to kill the North Korean leader and what they're going to do once they arrive in North Korea. And there are several key moments here that I wish would have been more explained and fleshed out if it was going to be that big of a deal to kill Kim Jong-un. But this is a comedy, it's supposed to be played up for laughs, and it all does run fairly well. I mean, this movie runs at a little under 2 hours, and it doesn't feel like you're watching this movie for a long time. But I wish that there was more focus put once again on the spy aspect, as it was all really interesting to see how Lizzie Kaplan's character and all the other authorities were watching Rogen and Franco mess up. What do I mean when these guys mess up? Well, when they mess up, they monumentally mess up in the story. And to some extent, it also goes for the comedy. Now, a lot of the jokes here really do stick. I mean, I was laughing out loud a lot during this movie, especially towards the last 20 minutes. But some of the jokes here felt a lot of filler. And I don't like it when comedies do that a lot of times, especially if it's all supposed to be just really disgusting or really sexual. but this is their type of humor that they were working with all the time, so it didn't bother me too much, but then again, it was nothing that original, even with a crazy plot like this. And by far and away, I think the biggest problem with this movie is its predictability. Highly predictable, I would say. And I know that it is no secret that the ending has been spoiled for everybody in the news, but I think even the lead up to it was a little bit too ridiculous for its own good, but might I say it was mighty entertaining to see them go about and whatever they were going to do to go after the North Korean leader. And I will say that this movie is definitely enjoyable to very much an extent to comedy lovers out there and to anyone else who is in for a good laugh. All this comes together to a movie that is light on creativity but high on the laugh factor. And especially during this time of year, which oddly enough makes this a weird kind of Christmas movie of sorts, even though it's not about Christmas, when you gather your friends, your family, or loved ones together to see a movie like this, and even though it's rated R, I think it's enjoyable for people who are relatively in for a good raunchy laugh. I would recommend this movie to an extent, especially considering that it does succeed in what it's trying to accomplish. Make us laugh, even though this is a very ridiculous concept that doesn't need to be controversial at all, and for that, I'd say it's worth a watch. My final thoughts on this movie are that even though it is unnecessarily controversial, highly predictable in nature, and does slow down a bit within the middle of the movie, which I did forget to mention, I'd say for Franco and Rogen's impeccable chemistry alone and the fantastically high laugh factor for those who are in for a good time, I'd still recommend this movie for those who just want to sit around the TV and just laugh or do whatever, or if you can even see this for God knows where in a theater near you in its extremely limited release, I'd say go see this movie, and especially during this time of year, a laugh is the best thing for all of us. My final verdict for The Interview is 3.5 out of 5 stars. One final note before I end this video. My next upload is most likely going to be my rundown of my favorite movies of 2014, and I intend to get that uploaded as soon as possible before the year goes out. And I hope you all thoroughly enjoy what's coming up next for me, as that video is my most ambitious project yet, in my opinion, and I look forward to getting it done. Thank you all, as always, for watching. Be sure to like this video, comment on what you thought of The Interview, subscribe to my channel for more. Happy holidays once again, and I'll catch you on the next movie review.